Thank you for coming back to the Seoul Dojo live podcast. Of course, I'm your boy Curtis Russell, aka Cali Soul. I'm with my boy Jamal Johnson, aka G Island. How you doing, man?
I'm doing pretty good, man. I'm doing pretty good. How about yourself?
I'm doing just fine. I was actually sick yesterday, so I hope I don't mess up during this stream. I'm just feeling the little bit of effects from yesterday, but I'm doing all right. I'm doing all right though.
Yeah, I know how it feels, man. I've been coming down with a little cold here, so I'm trying to shake that. So my voice may be going in and out throughout the stream, but you'll just have to bear with me.
Well, man, this week it's been actually all right for gaming news. One of the first things that I do want to talk about, starting off the stream here, is that Microsoft is actually trying to extend the life of the exclusivity for PUBG. Bluehole Incorporations, who's for PUBG, has came out and said that they wanted to make their audience a lot bigger, and they wanted to expand to multiple platforms. And Microsoft is pushing for them to actually extend that. As of right now, it's a main exclusive game for PC and Xbox going into the middle of next year, so 2018.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, PUBG comes out for Xbox One December 12th. What do you make of that? Do you think Microsoft just really wants a game of PUBG stature to stick around because they feel like the games they have, is it a lack of confidence? Maybe I'm asking.
I'm gonna say a little bit of both. I think honestly, to be honest, I just think probably they're just trying to capitalize off of more of a big game name. Me and you talked off stream about PUBG and the Fortnite, and pretty much it's one of those games. PUBG is a really big game on PC, and I think honestly that's just what they're looking to capitalize off by capturing that exclusivity. That the few that aren't able to play it because of whether it's processing power or whatever the case may be on PC, they're able to
Right.
grab it on the console that can handle it and truly
Hmm.
enjoy it.
Yeah, and I know for a fact that PUBG will be coming out, because it wasn't the full game. I guess that was coming out for PC. That's out for PC right now. It's not the full game, and
Mm-hmm.
that's coming out a little bit later during this month. And Xbox One is getting the kind of the watered down version that everybody's playing right now.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and like you said, I think they do want to capitalize on something like that. Um, this USA has came out and said that Persona 5 has sold over 2 million copies. They're very excited about that. I love it. I think it's a fantastic game. Go ahead and watch the first impressions video here on the Seoul Dojo Gaming channel on YouTube. It's I love the game, and it's actually really surprising that it only sold 2 million copies, and but still a great margin for them. And I hope they continue to make great Persona games. Also, we have this one. This one's pretty funny. um, Horizon Zero Dawn has sold over 3.4 million copies. So on December 1st, in the US, the complete edition
Mm-hmm.
of the Horizon Zero Dawn is going for $50. So you're gonna be able to get like all these packs and stuff like that with the DLC, literally the one DLC they have. You're gonna put it all together, and you're gonna be able to play uh, both that Horizon Zero Dawn and the Horizon Zero Dawn DLC, which is, I think it was like the Forest and the Wild or something like that. You're gonna be able to play all that. They also came out and said that they had a great Black Friday.
Mm-hmm.
The game went for $20, and they said they sold a lot that day. So I'm really happy for Guerrilla Games and PlayStation. They came out and said that, I know, Jay, last week you asked me, it was one of these streams, you asked me, what publishers are doing it right. And I feel like
Mm-hmm.
when Guerrilla Games came out and said, how much of an impact that PlayStation has had, I
Mm-hmm.
think PlayStation is definitely doing a good job also. You get a lot of these. So like I said, you get like a lot of these packs, so the Nora Keeper pack, the Khajiit pack, all these packs that you get. Um, with this bundle, with this, they're calling it the complete edition of the game. And so moving on from there, I want to ask you a question. Should we? I think I brought it up to you earlier.
Mm-hmm.
Before we get in our big topic, I want to jump right into this question. Should we use our own money as content creators? Should we use our own money to buy potentially bad, or if we know they're going to be bad games for our viewers, to warn our viewers? Should we make that purchase, and should we just make sure that we get that news out to our viewers?
I'm going to go with, and this might come as a surprise. Um, I'm gonna go with yes,
Hmm.
and you kind of made a pretty valid point. The other day was when we were talking about actually PUBG and Fortnite, and I was like, well, Fortnite's got this, yada yada yada, and he was like, well, I want to be able to see for myself. I want to be able to see for myself if Fortnite is the clear winner versus
Hmm.
PUBG. I want to see, okay, what's the highs, the lows before I make that judgment. So I would say now, like I said, it doesn't necessarily that PUBG isn't a bad game, but like I said, in
Right.
that sense of we can't really give a review, we can't really give a first impression, we can't really say, okay, well, you know what, something's bad because of maybe what we see. Um, we
Hmm.
just have to merely try it now. Like I said, if it's bad, then so be it. Like I said, we'll never know that it's bad. It may look
Right.
bad, it may sound bad, but we will never know that it's truly bad until we actually experience. I mean, we talked about how many games people talk about as bad because they purely just don't understand it. They're only sport games players, or they're playing these noob friendly games.
Right. Right.
Like Call
Right.
of Duty, Destiny, and like I said, while I love those games, I mean, that's all they know. You know what I mean? So
Hmm. That is absolutely true. And a lot of these, a lot of YouTubers, they get, deals from like EA and Ubisoft to talk
mm-hmm,
good about their games, or they wouldn't give them like a an early copy if they feel like they're gonna bring like bad publicity. You know
mm-hmm,
what I'm saying?
yeah,
I know a lot of YouTubers go through that because they're just like, you know what, and that's another thing too, is you need to be honest with your viewers. You
absolutely,
gotta, if it's bad and you're just like, you know what, I just really want EA to be on my side, so I'm gonna talk good about this game. Like, you gotta make sure that your viewers are not gonna be able to trust you if they play the game now. They use their money,
mm-hmm,
and it's like, well, this isn't good, and you told me it's good, so I don't know about your judgment anymore. So it's yeah, we use our money, but it's for a good reason,
yeah. Now I will say
and
now,
it helps us out in the long run.
no, sorry to cut you off, but I will
No,
say
go ahead.
now if we absolutely know, now there are certain games you will just absolutely know that
Mhm.
is completely just terrible. Like there's no need to even go much further into trying to buy it or whatever the case may be. We know it's bad. Um, Everything about it says bad. There's certain things you can do an eye test on. Not all games, because like I said, certain ones you just absolutely know
Right.
they are not going to be good. What was it? Um, what game was it?
You talking about the one you talking about Ghost Recon?
Ghost Recon we played. There was
Mhm.
this one game, I can't remember it. I used to watch on YouTube, but it was like basically it was this game centered around what is it called? What is it called? It's like Bad Day or something like that. Happy Day or something
Mhm.
like that. Um and I
We Happy Few.
Yeah, that's it. So
I don't even know how I got that
yeah,
right.
yeah,
Like, I've barely heard anything about that game. I just was like, that
yeah.
sounds familiar.
That's just that gamer intelligence.
Yeah.
But that was a game that I looked at, and while it seemed decent, it was just a terrible game. It's one of those games
Mhm.
that I could have looked at the right off the back and say, yeah, that's gonna suck. But I watched it and confirmed that guess what, it actually sucked.
It wasn't that good.
So that's like one of those games. Certain games you can just tell right off the bat that it's not even worth telling. And like I said, you play a variety of games. I played a variety, so we typically know. You know what I mean? It's not like okay,
Mm,
we're looking at everything from a general perspective. We're looking at it from a detailed perspective
right.
with every other game. You know what I mean?
And on the subject of We Happy Few, I I remember seeing that game, I think at E3, and I thought it was actually going to be pretty good. And of course, that isn't the case.
Mm-hmm.
It has like a great story. They're taking pills to like make themselves happy, and then like the world that you see when you're taking the pill is different from the actual world. And I was like, this
Yeah.
is something new, and this is something a little different. And it just so happens that it didn't really uh work out for the team that made that game. Did you watch a walkthrough of it?
Yeah, I actually watched a walkthrough of it, and I think I watched. I want to say maybe. I guess you can say it was probably 3 or 4 episodes, but these episodes were spread out into like about 15 to 20 minutes or so. So I watched a good bit of it, and I thought it was going to amount to something much more.
Mm-hmm.
And sadly, it didn't. That's kind of you know the sad thing about it. It didn't amount to much, and I'm kind of you know feel a little bad about it, basically.
Hmm. Is it a short game?
I didn't get to finish it. That's
You
just
didn't
how.
get to finish it. Okay.
Yeah, I usually I try to stick through them, but yeah, it was just one of those ones. It wasn't worth the time. It sounded maybe like it could have been a little bit better, but overall,
Hmm.
I mean it wasn't that good enough to, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I really wish that game did a lot better. So let's go ahead and move on. Let's talk about our topic of the day.
Mm-hmm.
Which console has the best upcoming exclusives in 2018? Now, I'm super excited to talk about this, Jay, because our
Mm-hmm.
very first podcast was over. Uh, if console exclusivity is important, and we ultimately came to the suggestion that yes, it is super important. And I've been I wasn't gonna bring this up, but I'm gonna bring it up anyway. I've been having a lot of Xbox versus Sony, conversations on Facebook all week, and they've been making
Mm-hmm.
my head hurt because that's how mad I was getting that people are just so, ignorant to this whole fact
Mm-hmm.
of that console exclusivity. It plays a big role in the console war. And
Mm-hmm.
when I say the console war, mostly, Sony and Microsoft. We both know that Nintendo is kind of doing their own thing.
Yeah.
But Nintendo has their own great exclusives.
Mm-hmm.
So let's start with Microsoft. I sent you the list. I don't know if you did a little bit of homework, but you should know a lot of these games. The
Mm-hmm.
first one that I got down to was Crackdown 3. We're talking about a game here that was supposed to originally come out, I think, this year just with the Xbox One, but it's looking more and more like they wanted to push it towards the Xbox One X because the Xbox One X was able to harness the power that this game wanted to bring. They wanted to make a whole city that was destructible. You could just destroy the whole thing if you wanted to.
Mm-hmm.
We're looking at a game. Me and you played Crackdown 2 on Xbox 360. Had a lot of fun with that.
Mm-hmm.
They have Terry Crews in Crackdown 3, which is super funny. Crackdown 3, it needs to kind of pick it up. I think these are one of this kind of game. So not Sony, Microsoft really is gonna want to hurry up and push out because they are very lacking on exclusives. Nobody
Mm-hmm.
has like the biggest reason to buy a Xbox One X. I think the only game that I know that came out that's a Microsoft exclusive around the same time Xbox One X came out was Lucky's Tale or something like that. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
nobody's gonna care too much about a weak platforming for children. Nobody's gonna care
Yeah.
too much about that.
Yeah.
Um, what do you have to say about Crackdown 3? Do you think it will be one of the bigger games of next year for Microsoft and they should probably put all their cards in Crackdown 3?
Now, just because I'm gonna be a little bit honest here, very honest, really. I didn't do my homework like I should have, but that's all right because we're gonna roll with it. Now, I can't really remember too much from Crackdown 2, and honestly, I haven't really seen much on Crackdown 3. So I'm
Mhm.
gonna have you explain it out a little bit more here, and we're gonna do some research here because I'm gonna see, and maybe once I see it, I'll be able to kind of tell
Yeah.
from there.
Well, I think that's one of the biggest parts of Crackdown 3 is that they wanted to make it all destructible, city that you can literally destroy a building from the bottom part and it'll just come crashing down. And the original Xbox One wasn't able to do that. And Xbox One X is able to. So Microsoft flipped around and basically said, "Hey, we're gonna save this for Xbox One X. We're gonna make a new console, just for that reason, not just for Crackdown 3. You know what I'm saying? They've been wanting to make a stronger console, but we'll save Crackdown 3 for that." And people have been waiting for Crackdown 3. So I think personally, what I think is, it's going to be a heavy hitter, but I don't think it's going to necessarily save, the whole Xbox Microsoft thing for exclusivity. I feel like they still been destroying too many games. Scalebound is one of them that I always talk about because it was such a disappointment that got scrapped by a great, a great development team in Platinum Games that just, got it. They just either Microsoft was intruding too much on the making of the game, and they just said, you know what, we're just gonna scrap it. Microsoft ultimately scrapped that project. So the next game, of course, is Forza Motorsport 7.
Alrighty.
By Turn 10 Studios, of course, and of course, Forza is just a big game for Microsoft every year. If you are a racing gamer, this game is your thing. Like, this is the most authentic racing game. I played Forza Horizon 3. I'm personally not like the biggest like racing guy, and like I know that. So when I stop playing a racing game, it's not because I think it's bad. It's not because I think it ain't good. No, it's just that it doesn't keep me for too long. I think you said it before. I mean, you're literally just driving. What else are you gonna do?
Exactly.
And it's one of the more games pleasing on the eye. Like, it is a gorgeous, absolutely beautiful game. From the rain that goes on the windshield, from like all the climates. They did it in Australia and Horizon Zero Dawn. Forza Horizon 3. They did Australia, and it was just absolutely gorgeous. I know you've seen. I think you've seen a couple of Forzas, right?
Yeah, I think I have. A while back when I didn't really pay too much attention to them. But yeah, I definitely noticed kind of one of their biggest strong suits is putting a lot of detail into, which I mean really pretty much a lot of these games use authenticity art. We're not going to even try to say it twice, but trying to making everything look really good and kind of a lot clearer and crisp, and our typical modern gameplay. Great graphics.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, this is one of those games. Somehow they always find some way to make it better. To make it like, I don't know. They try to find all these ways to make the driving more realistic, and they do such a great job. And Forza, I don't think it has a very true fan base. Like, you don't have a lot of new people coming in. You don't have a lot of older people dropping out. You just have like their core fan base. And I know those people are going to be running to go get Forza Motorsport 7. So Sea of Thieves is a game being developed by Rare. Rare did, Banjo and Kazooie, I believe Perfect Dark. So some older games, man, some legendary
I was gonna
games.
Say, that's really pretty old.
Yeah. Sea of Thieves is a kind of like an MMO pirate game. And seeing this game at E3, I was just like, all they're doing is just jumping off the plank and drinking ale. Like, what else you doing in this game? Like, what else do you do? And the recent videos we've been seeing of it, now it's like you fight skeletons, you find treasure, you're on this boat, you can have all your friends. It looks like a very, very fun game. I guess we can just be looking forward to it because it does seem like something that it's a community based game, and you're going to be able to get with your friends on this, and it seems pretty awesome. Have you seen anything on Sea of Thieves?
I have not, but I don't know. I don't know why. Now, like I said, I don't believe this is a Microsoft exclusive, correct?
Yeah.
Okay,
Microsoft.
so I don't believe it would be how do I put it? Be the game that saves Microsoft in a nutshell.
Mm-hmm.
But I think
Mm-hmm.
it would be pretty interesting. It would be something kind of different.
Yeah.
Especially, when you look at that kind of game, that's kind of a game you look at would have came out when, we were still on the 360. You know what I mean? That's not a next-gen type game.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm interested in seeing, I didn't really get to see much on it, but I think that's kind of how I like it, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
And lets me go at it with a kind of unbiased look.
Right, right, and that's what we're trying to be. We're not a PlayStation based YouTube channel. We say that a lot, and we're just for real. We're trying to be unbiased as we can. So the next game I have is State of Decay 2. There's another game on our list that's a lot like this, and Jay, I'm gonna be honest with you, I'm getting tired of seeing games like this because it's the same thing. It's this post-apocalyptic,
Oh, man.
zombie game, and it's like, okay, and it's a State of Decay is a little bit like, I guess you could say like PUBG a little bit,
Yeah.
but I guess it's an open world zombie slaying machine, and people are very happy that it's going to Microsoft, but I don't know if it's going to be a force to be reckoned with. We're just going to have to hold out and see.
So is it
yeah.
going to, sorry to cut you off. So is it going to be like like an H1Z1 type?
Yes, exactly right. You can create your own little settlement.
Mm-hmm.
You're supposed to survive. Now, with a lot of people, I'm not saying it isn't going to be a fun game, but this style of game is just, there's so many of them now.
Yeah.
There's so many games that are on this zombie survival thing, and we're just gonna have to see how State of Decay is the one, is like the granddaddy of them all, the daddy of them all, just the greatest zombie game ever. We'll see with Microsoft. We'll see.
Mm-hmm.
Sadly, that is the only 4 that I've gotten from Microsoft, which isn't that great because they were not favorites this year. For that, Jay, what do Microsoft need to? I think I've asked you this question before. Like, even with just these 4 titles, what do they need to get now going into 2018, almost going into 2019?
I guess if you're talking about in terms of what do they need to do in order to, I guess, save themselves in a nutshell. Now, I will give Microsoft credit for one thing. Now, we opened up the stream, we talked about PUBG, going to Xbox exclusively in the upcoming weeks here, correct? So
yeah, they wanted to expand it a lot longer.
Yeah, so I will give them credit for probably that one thing that they need to, I guess, to kind of answer your question here. I believe that they need to get a lot of these battle royale games are really blowing up.
Yeah.
And like I said, they're fun to play, they're addicting to play, you know what I mean? I think honestly, they're going to need to, they won't be able to sell a full price game because like I said, you're competing with Fortnite at free. You can't compete with free. You know what I mean? Yeah. Now, Fortnite does have its flaws. Like I said, so you can take advantage of that, and sell this game for maybe $30 releasing. Now, like I said, honestly, I think that would be the route for them. I think PUBG is a good route, but I think PUBG is $40 if I'm not mistaken, or $34, something around that price on Xbox when I last saw it. I think they need to make a battle royale type game, kind of capitalize off of this, see what a lot of these games that are going wrong, kind of listen to the community, and I guess it's more of Microsoft finding the developers to do that, and capitalizing off of a lot of these battle royale games' weak spots, because they are some that do have a lot of weaknesses in them and a lot of flaws in them. Taking advantage of those and then going on and bringing out this ultimate battle royale game, and I think that will kind of revive them, because like I said, if you can have an exclusive like that, I enjoy these, and if everybody's talking about this, then guess what? I think it would be worth going and play. I think it would be that, because like I said, it's so addicting. these battle royale games can eventually go into the esports side. And whenever you can mention esports, you already know that everybody's trying to be the next MLG. Everybody's trying to be the best player at this and that. And I think that it will ultimately revive Microsoft if they can do that. That's just one of the few things.
You're right. I think they just need to start pulling out their own kind of games. I know they're sitting here trying to expand, the life on the exclusivity on another developer that isn't necessarily tied to you, but they need to ultimately probably start getting new IPs, new ideas out there. And if they start now, we're looking at still another 3 years of like Microsoft not doing a lot until those games start coming out. I know in the beginning of the Xbox One era, they had like Sunset Overdrive and a few other ones that were looking promising, and we might see some more Sunset Overdrive. I'm pretty sure we will. Which will be good. And to be honest, that might be next year. Like, I know they haven't announced it or anything, but we might hear more about a game like that. But ultimately, I think Microsoft just needs to pick up the pace and get the developers and start making new ideas.
You know what I think? And I keep cutting you off here, but you keep bringing up great points, and so I got to compliment you on that. And then, so you know what I think, honestly, they need to do, and this is maybe cheap, but you know what? In this time where, like I said, we're by no means console fanboys. We've both played, pretty much all of the consoles, right, up to this point in time. I mean, and that's including Nintendo. Mm-hmm. But we're talking about the more of a content exclusive when it comes down to Xbox and PS4, because we know Nintendo is just on a planet of its own. There's no even need. They're on a planet on their own. But what I think Xbox or Microsoft needs to do is, honestly, they just need to take a play out of the PC games world and try as much as either you can do one thing. Now, like I said, the PUBG idea was great, but the price not so much. Now, I'm not sure if there's like some way that, the people that did have it on PC, if they're getting it free, if they go and get the X, whatever way, if they're not, then that kind of sucks. But they either need to have more of these PC content exclusive type games. So these kind of mergers, I guess you would say, kind of like the PUBG, because like I said, with the PC, we have a pretty decent PC. We both have pretty decent PCs that can, run a lot of things. But like I said, you really have to have a really good graphic card. There's a lot of money that goes into getting a really good PC to run these games, even at, the low settings.
Mm-hmm. PC gaming is,
but like I said, when you can get it at these settings, there's hands down, there's nothing that can compare to a top-notch PC. So I think what they need to do is try to get a lot of these PC games, a lot of these popular PC games that, like PUBG, like all these different games that you can't really play. People aren't really able to play because they don't have the money to. And like I said, you're attracting a lot of fan bases. You're attracting older and younger. Literally, they just need to go to the Twitch list and honestly just pick off the top 10 games that are PC only, and then try to pick up those. That's the only way that you're going to be competing with Sony. Sony's on a whole nother level of their own. Like I said, if it comes down to, we measure up Fortnite on PlayStation and Fortnite on Xbox, that's what people are going to choose, the PlayStation side. That's where the competitive scene's at. There's certain games that still are competitive on Xbox, but it's not any games that are really of relevance that you will really see. And like I said, we talked about YouTube and Twitch really affect the gaming community, the gaming sales. And actually, there was a Twitch streamer by the name of Wish You Luck that pretty much echoed what we talked about a couple weeks ago.
Really?
Twitch streamers, YouTubers, and really anybody with these big influences, like, you got these people that have over 1 million or 3 million, 4 million, 5 million subscribers. They're reaching out to 100,000 people a day, literally in an hour, 2 hours, that are influencing whether or not somebody's going to get your game or they're not going to get your game. It's just that.
Absolutely.
And like I said, that's just from one person. That's not including, these guys that all grew up together. Now, like I said, if you got a group of people that all know each other, these big YouTubers, they're like, you know what, guys, I'm not feeling this. We need to make sure that we can make a point to these developers. So, that's just, I guess, one of those things, seeing what it is that these YouTubers, these streamers are going to enjoy, because like I said, ultimately, if they're not playing your game is not going to really sell, bottom line.
Yeah, and where the media has so much influence
Exactly
on all of us. I mean, before we started doing any YouTube, anything, I know I was going to YouTube all the time looking at gameplay of whatever game I thought I was going to play, you know what I'm saying? Or whatever game I really wanted to buy. While you was talking about the whole PC and Microsoft thing, I was trying to think of like some games that would be awesome to be ported over. I was thinking maybe it would be crazy if like they got like Star Wars, The Old Republic off of PC going to console. But that, I know there's been talks of that going to PS4 and Xbox.
Yeah.
So if Xbox can get a hold of that, that'd be pretty sweet.
Yeah.
That'd be
like
I might turn around and get one. That's a good game.
Yeah, like I said, the only thing is that, like I said, if you're kind of out of, you're pretty much out of luck if you have to go against, I guess you can say, you're pretty much out of luck if Sony's able to get a deal in and say, okay, well, you know what? We want this game also on our side. Like I said, that's what's just going to be Microsoft's fighting point. They got to somehow, some way convince them that, guess what? You're better off doing a content exclusive only to us. Because otherwise, I mean, if it comes down to it, like I said, Sony's going to win that battle every time.
Yeah.
Every time. It's not even a question, and it's not a bias. It's just, if you go and look at through all the communities, all the Twitch chats, all these actual esports tournaments, they're done through PlayStation. Now, like I said, there's some that, you have it on both sides where you'll play on PlayStation and then you'll play on Xbox, you know what I mean, to level everything off. So, we'll see.
We'll see. So let's move on to PlayStation. I like how we continued the Microsoft thing because they didn't really have that many, and I liked how we, fought off of that. So the first one I have on here is Shadow of the Colossus. That is a game that was, I believe it came out in 2005 on the PlayStation 2. A lot of people enjoyed it. Please don't kill me in the chat. I have not played it. I know I'm the guy that always plays all these games, but this is the kind of game I'm surprised that it went over my head. I'm so surprised.
Yeah.
And the title, the name says it all. You're fighting against these colossal kind of enemies, and you're just this little cat. You're just a little, well, not a cat, but you're a little guy. And it's made by a Japan studio. I'm definitely gonna pick it up and play it. I love the art style, the gorgeous art style of it. It's really nice. Jay, do you know anything about Shadow of the Colossus? If you don't, I really don't either.
I do not, but you were talking about just kind of you, this small guy versus colossal people, and actually right now we have kind of got the God of War gameplay going on here, and like that's what I was thinking about. Now I think I told you this the other day. The thing I like about now, like I said, they would have to capitalize off of really good graphics and kind of making it just epic. But I told you that I like having these games that's got these, I think it's CGIs or whatever. Where there's these big, huge thing monsters and whatnot that are just coming out of nowhere. You're fighting them. And like I said, I don't know what it is about it, but I just think it's truly epic to play. So.
Yeah, that's the right word to use, epic. Especially with the gameplay going on. That's God of War 3, and that was just like such a cinematic and bloody, gory kind of game. I love that game. That's definitely hands down the best God of War game.
So this game that you're mentioning now is going to be coming out
in 2018. Not a set time yet. I know. It's coming out for PlayStation. If that's what you're asking.
Dang. Well, I feel sorry for Microsoft because I was just sitting here in one of the biggest games, and I guess I'm gonna touch on it briefly, but I'm gonna let you finish here. Because when you said that, the first game that I was thinking of was God of War, and like I said, you got this Colossus game that, like I said, I mean, it's on PlayStation, so why not pick it up? Like I said, it sounds epic, but then you got God of War, the new God of War that's coming out, hopefully in 2018. That's got it set for 2018, but I don't think when I went to GameStop. I don't think the guy, he was talking about it, but I'm not sure if it was an official release date on this. But like I said, if you got these two, honestly, just going to be awesome games, so.
Exactly. I know actually a lot of these games on this list, they're saying 2018, no set release date yet, a lot of these games, but yeah, Shadow of the Colossus, I'm really excited for that. The next game that I have, Jay, I'm pretty sure you know a lot about, or a good bit about, and this game's name, it kind of puts the rest to bed because of the respect that this game has, and it's The Last of Us Part 2.
Oh man, I am beyond like I can't express how much I'm looking forward to The Last of Us, and it's one of those games that honestly I have to sit and watch it on I have to sit here and watch it on YouTube because I got to be able to rewind it, and go back and rewatch everything over. So like I said, you will probably be doing the walkthrough for that. But like I said, because I know I can't. Like I have to be able to sit here and truly enjoy this. And you're able to, play and kind of really take in, everything that's going on while you're playing. It would take me too long to ever finish the series. So yeah, I'm looking forward to, if there's the most anticipated game. Last of Us is it is at the top of my list out of any they could drop a new Halo made by Bungie and Last of Us is at the top here.
Yeah, this game is it's probably going to be game of the year straight up. And this game is having a lot of pressure riding on it, but I know Naughty Dog is the right team to just knock it out of the park. They released a trailer, a very interesting trailer, and they haven't released too much after that, but it just looks like it's going to be absolutely amazing, and we're going to definitely bring you, stuff on that on the Seoul Dojo Gaming channel right here on YouTube. So next is Death Stranding. Now, I don't know a lot about this game. I know that Kojima is at Metal Gear Solid. He left that team and he decided to make Kojima Productions, and he started on a Death Stranding game. This game is super weird because I think the first trailer had something like he was a guy was on a beach and then he found a baby and all type of, it's Kojima that's what he's like. If you're a Kojima fan in the comments, or if you're watching, that he's this kind of guy. And he said, I believe he said it's going to be like a stealth based kind of game, kind of like the Metal Gear Solid games. And I'm gonna check that out. That's gonna be very interesting, and we'll see. It's slated to come out 2018. Do you know anything? Have you heard about Death Stranding at all, Jay?
I have not. A lot of these, honestly, I'm gonna say that I have not really I haven't really heard of any of these at all, but they all sound pretty interesting. And like I said, I guess because they don't really have any, common titles to them or anything, or just titles that ring a bell to me. So I'm hoping they're as good as you're describing me, because the titles don't really stick out. There's not really titles of games that would really grasp your attention. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Death Stranding is a weird game. So next we have Kingdom Hearts 3 by Square Enix. Yeah. Let me just start off by saying it's about time. We're talking about from 2006. I guess all I can say at this point is can you guys just hurry up, because it's about that time. You've made all these 3DS games, DS games. You've thrown every game on every console to try to explain your difficult story, your overall just crazy story. You try to explain it, and the people that stick with this and they understand the story, kudos to you. You're amazing. But I played, I've beaten the first one, beaten the second one, beaten Chain of Memories, which was on the Game Boy a while back. And I've been playing a little bit of the other ones, and it's about time that Kingdom Hearts 3 is coming. I just hope they don't throw in, because they have, Disney has some partnership with Marvel. I really don't want Spider-Man flying around in my Kingdom Hearts game. I do not want that. If I'm wrong for that, whatever, because I just don't want that. I don't want all that in Kingdom Hearts. Kingdom Hearts is a different kind of experience than that, and I hope they don't touch up on any of that. Anything on Kingdom Hearts 3?
I'm looking forward to it. I know I've played a little bit of the Kingdom Hearts, just back in the past. I think with you actually, because I don't think I really ever owned a Kingdom Hearts game. Honestly, I'm looking forward to it. I've really just kind of forgot a lot about Kingdom of Hearts, because I know back in my much younger days, I didn't really play a lot of these games. Like I said, I was just mostly a sports type. So I'm honestly looking forward to seeing what it has to offer. Is it going to be able to capture me, and bring me in as a fan of this series, kind of basically starting over fresh. So,
yeah, it's just, it's typical Square Enix to just drag out, one of the most anticipated games of their franchise for over 10 years. Like it's just so them, and that's just how it goes with Square. The next game I have is Days Gone by Ben Studios. Now, remember when we were talking about State of Decay? This is one of those games, man. It's this post-apocalyptic, universe, whatever story, and it's this big old hordes of zombies that are running at you, and on Facebook we're just going nuts, and I'm just like, Dying Light, Dead Island, Left 4 Dead. There's so many games that have done it and done it well. Like, there's so many, and it's just like, can we just get something different? So the first trailer I saw, I was like, wow, another one. Sound on my DJ Khaled, another one. And then second trailer, it caught me, because we got to see that you can utilize these hordes of zombies to your benefit. And I thought that was kind of good. I thought that was cool. Saw a little bit of a stealth mechanic in the game at that point. And I was really, shocked by that. I was really like, well, okay, that's cool. I want to see the survival aspect. I want to see more parts of this game that will make me be like, okay, I think I'll give it a try, because anybody that doesn't really play any of those games and they see this game are probably going to be gravitated to it. Me personally, I've beaten Dying Light. I played Left 4 Dead. I played Dead Island. I played, Dead Rising, that's coming out with the whole, I think it's like a whole DLC pack that's coming out soon. But I played all these games, so when I look at this game, I just see the same thing, and I'm like, well, it has to show me more. And in this kind of genre, is it getting played out? Because we even had the zombies mode on Call of Duty. So do we just need to start phasing this kind of part out? Because it seems like, just like in clothes and stuff like that, games go through their own styles and stuff. And like for a while there, people were into vampires and stuff. So now we're going into zombies. Do you feel like this just needs to start, going away, or can it still be around for a little bit longer?
I think it's honestly time to start really fading it out in terms of, any new game. Like I said, the only really decent, I guess you can say, and it's not really even a zombie, not even really a zombie game, but like I said, going back to Last of Us, the only way that you can really have these zombie games is really to make it more into like a post-apocalyptic kind of a really in-depth story mode, that really captures us like Last of Us did. And I really, with all these posts, now I'm one of those persons that, and I don't know about you, but I'm one of those people, and I think pretty much a lot of people are fans of post-apocalyptic situations, whether it's, watching a post-apocalyptic movie. One of my favorite, and I guess you can't really say it's, I'm going to call it post-apocalyptic for the sake of this discussion. Resident Evil is one of my favorite series. Doesn't really matter how bad the movie is. I just enjoy watching it. Like I said, if you're not going to do much with it, and like I said, it's just going to be this open world where, you're constantly, kind of basically like your H1Z1, if I can just wrap it up in a nutshell. It's like, Call of Duty already has it. There's a lot of games that already have it kind of built into the game along with everything else. You're not going to compete with them. It's just kind of getting boring, getting played out. It's like, you got to come up with something new. Everybody we're in a time where everybody's literally copying, and I can't really say copying, but kind of doing the same ideas because it's working. That's the day and age we're in,
Yeah.
Consumers are not really looking much into it. So you're just kind of like, they need to figure out something quick. Okay, what is the best thing? Like I said, Destiny. Okay, there's games like, okay, what can we do? What can we do to be like Destiny? What can we do to capture that Destiny feel? It's one of the biggest games for the past 3 years. What can we do to capture? And I'm talking about Destiny 1 here because we know Destiny 2 is just completely garbage right now. What can we do? Versus them settling down like most developers do. And we talked about this with in our last podcast, I believe, concerning the loot boxes, and we were talking about the developer of Horizon Zero Dawn. Basically them sitting out and saying, okay, you know what, we're working on something. They're doing their own thing. They're focused on doing their own thing. They're not afraid to take that time off. A lot of these developers, a lot of these publishers are afraid for these developers to take time off on these games because they feel that, okay, you know what, well, it's going to be too long. We need the money now, and they're kind of in this now mentality. And that's why you see a lot of these games. You see, okay, well, you know what, let's get on to the zombie game. Let's get on to these post-apocalyptic games. Let's get on these shooters and all these different games.
More popular genres.
Yeah, exactly. So, like I said, if they can't find a way to make a good post-apocalyptic zombie movie where it has that Last of Us effect to it, with a pretty decent pretty decent multiplayer, I guess you can say.
Yeah.
Then they should just give it a rest and kind of retire it.
I think two of the more popular. So you have the post-apocalyptic, genre and games, and then now it seems like it's these battle royale games that are getting super big now.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and I guess it's and then like you said again, Destiny, the shared world shooter. That's another one that's another kind of genre in gaming that's getting big now because now you have games like Anthem. Apparently when you describe just like Destiny, except it's made by BioWare, who are great storytellers, great RPG developers, and even though we're not talking about too much, we're not trying to talk about Anthem. I mean, I am looking forward to it, but that style of game, I'm still like, I mean, The Division, Ghost Recon, those are all the same kind, and it's not like they've made this huge impact. Not this huge impact. Exactly. I feel like Destiny made a little bit more of one than them. Yeah. But
we know Destiny made I would say 10 times much more because I guess, Destiny has this different type of, and like I said, it's like you look at those games like that tried this kind of what is it? I guess you consider open world type, this kind of Destiny effect. But one thing is that they lacked in. And honestly, you know what I would, and I think I said this a while back, and literally your response was that would be GTA 5. But like I said, this open world, where pretty much, you can go around, and I guess it would be nice to have it kind of just in a different type of format of a game.
Yeah,
because we already pretty much have
a different format.
You know what I mean. Perfect way to put it. So where you have these guardians, you're able to pretty much engage in combat, in the open world, and it kind of like I said, they could definitely make it a lot different than what GTA is. But like I said, you mentioned the battle royale games. Right now, we know there's going to be 1,000,001 developers that are going to try to capture off on this game and within the next year too, because like I said, it's something that's just coming. PUBG has been around for a minute, a little bit longer. Fortnite just came out a couple months back. A couple months back. I know they had like the beta, the early betas in June, I believe it was. So,
right.
We know that everybody's going to try to capitalize off of it, which they should. I mean, I would love to see another battle royale game before it kind of goes dead.
Right.
We're looking at two different type of developers in today's age. You got the ones that are just really creative, and then you got the ones that are pretty decent, but they're just looking to see what the next biggest idea is so that we can go after that. You know, so and we could say Epic Games for Fortnite copied PUBG, but they were smart with it. They looked at what was the flaws, what is it that people hated about PUBG, and said, okay, you know what? Well, we're just going to fix those and then release this free game called Fortnite.
Which is a good, scheme.
Yeah, exactly.
That's dope. So, Days Gone. Looking forward to it. Kind of forgot we was talking about that game, but looking forward to it. But the style of the game, we've seen a lot of it, and so we'll see when it comes out during 2018. So the next game we were just talking about, God of War, Santa Monica Studios. I'm super excited for this one. I know you've seen the trailer, right? You seen the first trailer?
I believe so. I think it's like a honestly, I don't know what kind of monster it is. I think you said it. You had described it to me, but it's like this little snake thing or whatever.
The serpent that comes out the water.
There it is, serpent coming up out of the water.
And it's and that right there indicates how colossal that I hope this game is going to be. Just
exactly.
Or 3. I like this. I like the game so far. Well, checking it out with the couple of trailers that brought out, I like the fact that it isn't Kratos just going wild and being like this wild guy he is. He's a father now.
Yeah.
So you kind of get this Last of Us feel kind of with it a little bit. You have your son following you. You want to teach him how to hunt and all this stuff. And, Kratos is a different kind of guy. So I think it's going to be more of a story-driven God of War game that we can connect with the characters and also kick a lot of butt, all this gory stuff, of course, because that's what we want in God of War. So I'm super excited to see where this story goes. And any excitement from you for God of War?
I'm excited. And here's the funny thing about God of War. Now, I never played it on the PlayStation or at all. I've never played God of War. Honestly, I've always heard about it, but I never knew what it was. The only thing I could recognize from the God of War was what's the guy's name? Starts with a K. Kratos. Yeah, Kratos. Literally, that exact trailer that you talked about, I seen this trailer on YouTube, I believe. Like, I just seen it once, and I was like, I'm gonna go pre-order that game. Like, I didn't. In fact, I don't remember anything else from that trailer but that one scene.
Yeah. But it's so funny because everybody like that serpent was so awesome.
Yeah, I was like, you know what? I went to the guy in GameStop. I was like, tell me a little bit about God of War, and so he did, and I was like, okay, yeah, can I like pre-order this game? So I'm excited to see. Honestly, I think we'll most likely be doing a walkthrough on this channel of God of War and a lot of these games, but I'm looking forward to it. Honestly, seems like it's gonna be really fun. I'm just kind of lost on how Kratos has a son, but like I said, I'm new to the God of War series, so I'll get to see exactly how this amounted, because he's not the best of looking people.
He's I know in the first, second, third, I mean, there's been a lot of scenes in those games where he's like banging goddesses or whatever. But that's another podcast for another day. Basically halfway through the Sony exclusives, we already have The Last of Us, Kingdom Hearts 3, and God of War. We already said those names, and Sony is already sounding like they're gonna be a force to be reckoned with.
Yeah.
Going into 2018. So the next game I have is the new Spider-Man with Insomniac Games. Insomniac worked on one of my most cherished game franchises from when I was younger, Spyro the Dragon.
I remember.
Yep, and Ratchet and Clank. And seeing Spider-Man's my favorite superhero, just hands down. I love Spider-Man. And looking at the trailer from Spider-Man, it just looks super cinematic, which is, I'm saying it as kind of a bad thing, a little bit of a bad thing, because my favorite Spider-Man game is Spider-Man 2 that came out for the PlayStation 2. That one, and then the one that came out for PlayStation 1 that was just strictly Spider-Man.
Yeah.
And those games, well, Spider-Man 2 did a great job of the web slinging. It got it down perfectly. You have to be near a building or a tree or something that you can grab your web on, and you can have all these styles when swinging. Like, you can like do certain flips, and as you upgrade you can get different kinds, and it had so much style, like how Spider-Man should be, and it felt agile, like how he should feel. And I just remember, and that game had a great story. It followed the story of Spider-Man 2 with Tobey Maguire, and this one, it looks good. There was just a lot of cinematic stuff. It might be because it's a trailer, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It might be because of that. But as long as this game doesn't necessarily follow the whole Marvel, like, I don't want like the whole Marvel thing that was in like the new Spider-Man movie that just happened. Like, the new Spider-Man movie, I was like, oh, it's all right, but I don't really want that. I want Miles Morales. I want him to make a cameo. I want like just a real authentic Spider-Man game. Did you hear anything about the new Spider-Man game for PS4?
I didn't. As I was looking, I saw it. Now, I've played the Spider-Man. I believe if they followed correctly through the storylines, and I believe it was the Spider-Man 1.
Mm-hmm.
If they followed with the movies, then I know it's Spider-Man 1 was, I think, the only one I played, or maybe
on PlayStation 2.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Was it PlayStation 2? It probably was.
Because they had Spider-Man 1. When they followed the Tobey Maguire movies, the first one they made, it was 1 and 2.
Okay, so I played
and
1.
I don't think they made a third one. They might have made a third one. Okay, you played 1. Okay.
So are these the same? And you probably said this. I'm thinking about it as you're saying it. So are these the same developers, or just different developers?
Nah, different developers from the first one and the second one. Yeah, completely different ones.
Wow.
Insomniac Games, I think, is a good developer to put on this kind of project.
Well, I haven't heard much about it. But nonetheless, I mean, it's still exciting. Like I said, kind of how you described it. Now, if we can get where it can follow a pretty decent storyline and kind of make, have some cameos here and there. Honestly, I just wish they would bring back Tobey Maguire would come back to the Spider-Man movies, but he's on to bigger and better things. That would be just great. I think the game would just go up in sales and prices if he were just to come back and, make a voice acting in these new Spider-Man games. So,
They've just been going through, I know we're talking about gaming, but movie-wise, they're just going through so many Spider-Man. Like, this is the third one.
Exactly.
God, Jesus.
Yeah, and I mean, I've enjoyed all of them. Probably Spider-Man 3 being my favorite. Because Tobey Maguire's he's funny. Just so hilarious in that.
Yeah.
But we're coming up on the 58th minute of our hour. So anything else we got here before we?
Oh yeah. Oh wow. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Real quick, we'll just run it down real quick. Okay. So finishing out Sony real quick. Detroit Becoming Human. It is being made by Aquatic Dream. Jay, you might have a little bit more insight on it because it's by the makers of Beyond Two Souls and Heavy Rain.
Okay.
Yeah. Looking at this game, it hasn't like, oh my God, yes, like I need to get this, but I heard Beyond Two Souls is a great story-based game.
It was.
Yeah. Okay. Good. Final Fantasy VII Remake. First by Square Enix. Everybody loves Final Fantasy. We absolutely love it, adore it. Oh my goodness, it's amazing. And it's not a remaster, it's a remake. Okay. And we're super excited to see that. Real quick, with Nintendo, they're doing a good bit of new exclusives. They're doing Travis Strikes Again. No More Heroes. No More Heroes is like the only like violent Nintendo game ever. Really good game. If you played Shovel Knight is coming back in 2018 with a new DLC. They're making a new Yoshi game, which is super awesome. They're having 2 Kirby games. It's Kirby Star Allies and Kirby Battle Royale for 3D. The thing about Nintendo is they have 2 platforms that are going hard. Super Meat Boy, made by the independent developer. If you haven't seen his movie on Netflix, hit that mug up because it goes into the independent style of gaming and what they go through. A new Fire Emblem game coming through, and of course a new Pokemon game for Nintendo. So if you're a Nintendo fan, you got a Switch like I'm about to have. You are in for a great ride for 2018.
And we're also one more. Got a couple seconds here. One more that is. I saw the Red Dead Redemption game also. That's another one that's going to be, or is set for 2018. Which, like I said, I didn't really get to play, I guess, much of that storyline because we really just played the zombie modes. We literally just went to go and play the zombies mode. But that is going to be another one. Overall, so I believe PS4 once again is going to take the reign for 2018, and you say.
I'm basically saying the same thing. I mean, Last of Us, Kingdom Hearts 3, between Sony and Microsoft. I mean, you look, Last of Us, Kingdom Hearts 3, God of War, and the Final Fantasy 7 remake. I mean, that's enough for me. Like, you could just take them for. I'd be like, yeah, that's a winner. Chicken dinner.
All right, sounds good. Well, we're gonna close out here. I've been one half of the hosting panel of the Seoul Dojo Podcast, G. Allen, aka Jamal. We got my main man here, Mr. Curtis Caliso Russell. We have been your host. Hopefully you've enjoyed the podcast. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Make sure you turn on those notifications. We got content coming out of the water here, flying from the heavens down to you guys. We're working on a lot of things here. We got a pretty big video coming up here soon, and in a couple months, actually 2 months, we're going to be heading somewhere. We're not going to tell you guys, but it's going to be really awesome. You guys are really going to enjoy it. So just stay tuned to that. And be sure to share the videos around. Peace.
Peace.